You ever stand in your own driveway staring at a wall of snow and realize this isn't weather anymore, it's disrespect? That was my winter. Every time it stormed, the end of my driveway turned into a frozen reminder that somebody else's convenience mattered more than my time, my back, or my property. I lived beside a narrow private lane leading into a small townhouse complex, close-packed units, shared parking lot, their own plow contractor. The first storm that year was normal trouble. I made coffee, looked out the window, and saw the usual ridge at the end of my driveway about a foot high, a little icy, annoying, but familiar. So I bundled up, grabbed my shovel, and cleared it. 20 minutes, cold hands, sore shoulders, end of story. Then another storm rolled in heavier this time. When it cleared, I stepped outside and stopped cold. What sat at the end of my driveway wasn't a ridge anymore, it was a wall. Dense, packed, close to 2 feet high like somebody had built it on purpose. It took me nearly an hour to break a path through it, and in the middle of that mess, I noticed something strange. The pile was coming in from the side. It didn't look like city plow leftovers. The layers were angled wrong, pressed in from the townhouse lane, not the road. I planted my shovel, looked over at that entrance beside my property, and felt the whole thing shift in my head. This wasn't random. So the next snowfall, I stayed inside and watched. Coffee in hand, lights off, standing at the window. About 30 minutes after the snow started sticking, a pickup with a plow blade rolled into the townhouse lane. He made a few clean passes through their lot, then got to the mouth of the lane right where it met my driveway and slowed down. He angled the blade and pushed the whole load straight into my driveway entrance. Then he backed up and did it again. Clean entrance for them, frozen headache for me. That was the moment I knew this wasn't a mistake. It was routine. Later that afternoon, I waved him down. "Hey," I said, keeping it calm, "you've been pushing snow into my driveway." He rolled the window halfway and shrugged. "I'm following the easiest push line. That's how it's done around here." "The easiest for who?" I asked. Another shrug. "Snow's got to go somewhere." "Yeah," I said, "just not in my driveway." He gave me a little half smile. "All right, I'll keep that in mind." And for one stupid minute, I believed him. Next storm, same thing. Worse, actually. I stepped outside and found the end of my driveway buried again, deeper and wider. I stopped hoping and started documenting. Next snowfall, I watched from the window again. Same truck, same passes, same little slowdown at the end of the lane. Then the blade turned and another load came rolling right into my driveway. I walked over later. "You're still doing it," I said. He leaned back in the cab. "It's just the edge, right? You can clear that." That line told me everything. Not because it was mean, because it was indifferent. My extra hour didn't matter because technically I was able to spend it. His convenience counted, mine didn't. So I called the townhouse management office and got a woman named Karen Hull. Calm voice, the sort of person who sounds like she's always one sentence away from saying per policy. I explained what was happening, told her I'd already spoken to the driver and asked if they could make sure he stopped using my driveway as a dumping area. She paused, then said, "Our plow company is very experienced. They wouldn't intentionally block a residential driveway." "I've seen him do it," I said, "more than once. The city plow often creates buildup at driveway entrances," she said. "It's a common issue this time of year." That was when I realized I wasn't talking to somebody trying to solve a problem. I was talking to somebody trying to smooth one over. "It's not the city plow," I said. "It's coming from your lane." Another pause. "I'll make a note of your concern." Concern. That word stuck with me. That night I bought bright orange reflective driveway markers, the tall kind impossible to miss in snow. I planted them right along the edge where their lane met my property. Clear boundary, no excuses. Next storm, I was back at the window. The truck came in, cleared their lot, approached the entrance, and his headlights lit up those orange markers. For one hopeful second, I thought maybe that would do it. Then he pushed anyway. Snow rolled right over the markers, buried half of them bent, one low under the weight. At that point, I didn't need another conversation. I needed proof. The next day, I mounted a small camera near my garage aimed at the driveway entrance. 2 storms later, I had clear footage, him finishing the townhouse lane, turning the blade, and using my driveway like an extension of their snowbank. I clipped the video, grabbed a few still frames, and emailed everything to the Townhouse Association. Short message, no emotion. "This is happening, here is the evidence, please address it." Then I waited. 1 day, nothing. 2 days, still nothing. No reply, no apology. And honestly, that silence was the twist. Up until then, I thought the problem was one lazy plow driver. Turns out the real problem was bigger. He did what was easiest, management protected the contractor, and underneath both of them sat the same quiet assumption I'd keep absorbing the burden because I was the easiest place to put it. That was when I stopped playing defense. I walked into my garage and looked at my snowblower. Gas-powered, heavy-duty, loud enough to announce itself, strong enough to launch snow a long way. I put my hand on the handle and had one of those thoughts that arrive so calmly it feels almost reasonable. If snow has to go somewhere, maybe it should go back where it came from. The next storm hit right on schedule. He cleared their lane, pushed another compacted wall into my driveway entrance, and drove off. This time I didn't touch it. I let it sit there all day exactly how he left it. By evening, their lot looked nice and neat cars, tucked in edges, clean, everything the way they wanted it. That's when I stepped outside. The air had that deep winter stillness to it. I pulled the starter cord once, twice, and the snowblower roared awake. For the first time in weeks, I smiled. I rolled up to that pile and looked at it for a second. Same snow, same insult, only now I wasn't seeing a problem. I was seeing material. I lowered the auger, angled the chute carefully toward the empty outer edge of their lot, not at cars, not at doors, not at walkways, and eased forward. The machine bit in with a deep crunch and launched that packed snow back in a clean white arc. Not dumped in one giant heap, not sprayed wild, just returned slowly and evenly to the same kind of empty space they'd decided was good enough for me. Pass after pass, the pile got smaller on my side and tighter on theirs. There was something almost peaceful about it. The engine, the rhythm, the simple fairness of putting the weight back where it belonged. It took about 40 minutes. When I shut the machine off, my driveway entrance was clean and open. Their lot wasn't ruined. It was just tighter now. Less comfortable, a little more inconvenient around the edges. They were finally carrying some of the costs they'd been handing me all winter. The next morning I heard the truck before I saw it. I went to the window with my coffee, and there he was moving slower now, reworking the edge I'd filled in the night before. He had to widen things again, clean things again, do extra passes he hadn't planned on doing. And watching him, I realized the funny part now he understood. Inconvenience had a return address. That afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. This is Karen Hall from Maple Ridge Townhomes. Her voice had changed. Still polite, still careful, but none of that earlier dismissal left in it. We've received a report that snow from your driveway was relocated onto our property last night. I wouldn't call it relocated, I said. I'd call it returned. Silence. Then she said, that's creating complications for our residents. Yeah, I said, it's been creating complications for me too. Another pause, longer this time. Then finally, what exactly would you like us to do? There it was. No denial, no lecture, no winter excuse, just a question. Simple, I said. Tell your plow driver to stop using my driveway as a dump site and put that in writing. Then I added one more thing. If it happens again, I'm billing your association for snow removal. Because at that point, I'm doing part of your contractor's job. Her tone shifted immediately. That seems reasonable, she said. I'll speak with the contractor today. The next storm came a few days later. Same truck, same lane, same coffee in my hand by the window. Only this time I wasn't watching for proof. I was watching for change. He cleared their lot, came to the mouth of the lane, slowed down exactly where he always did, and turned the blade the other way. Snow rolled away from my driveway and back into their own designated bank, exactly where it should have gone from the start. No wall, no extra labor, no little tax on my patience. Just respect for a boundary that had been there the whole time. And that's what stayed with me. People love calling something normal when normal benefits them. They call it policy, procedure, standard, winter, impact, the easiest line. But a whole lot of normal is really just selfishness nobody has challenged yet. That was the lesson for me. Some people do not recognize a boundary until crossing it costs them. Not always because they're evil, sometimes because convenience makes them careless. But once the burden comes back their way, fairness becomes easy to understand. So maybe I overreacted. Maybe I should have kept my head down and shoveled in silence. Or maybe there are moments when the only language selfish people understand is consequence. I'll let you decide that. If you were in my place, would you have done the same thing? Or was sending the snow back a step too far? Where's the line between standing up for yourself and giving somebody a taste of their own behavior? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you've ever had a neighbor, an HOA, or anybody else quietly dump their problem on your side of the line, I want to hear that story too.